Ryan.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN just after 3 p.m. Thanks so much for tuning in. Friday afternoon, final hour of the trading week, and we got markets right now. S&P's barely holding on to green territory. We hit a nice round number just after noon Eastern time, 6,800 for the first time ever in S&P futures. That's our high right now. We're off those levels, but still positive by 3 points at 67.69. You see the volume we got, acceleration. Kicked off at about 1 o'clock. 145, you drive down to the lows. NASDAQ 100, all-time highs this morning. We trade lower intraday. Right now, just above 25,000. NASDAQ 100 off by 0.4% or 102 points in the red. Hanging on to that 25,000 mark. Dow up by 0.6%. The Russell right now up by 0.7% or 18 points in the positive. Bitcoin almost to all-time highs today as well. It's across the board, right? And then you jump over to gold. Gold up by $43. We might see all-time highs in gold by the time I'm off the air at 4 o'clock. Gold up by $43 or 1.2%. Silver, how about silver up by 3.5%, up $1.60. We hit a high of 48.32. That's a new recent high for silver as well. And it's in the context of having a little bit of dollar weakness. You look where you were yesterday, all the way up to 98.10. You backed off a bit. We've backed off a bit further. We're down by 11 pennies to 97.27. You take a look at the dollar on a daily. Just keep pushing lower levels. We hit 96.21 on Fed Day. And the shutdown does not stop the Fed. The Fed, 3 weeks back. 3 weeks from this coming Wednesday, the Fed meets. Man, that's a quick 6 weeks, right? And yeah, that's 5 days from right now. So 3 weeks from 5 days right now, or 4 weeks from 2 days ago. But the Fed, they meet October 29th. We got the dollar at 97.72 right now. And that dollar weakness is even in the context of a little bit of higher yield. 4.12, lower price, higher yield on the 10-year. We jump over the VIX. I was talking to our man Tim Ward yesterday. We were talking about, he follows the SPY VIX, SPY VIX ratio. And yeah, we have a little bit of an elevated VIX. Nothing out of the ordinary. But take a look at this VIX. Okay? Look how many times we've been lower on this VIX. And then keep in mind that we just touched all-time highs across the board. S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, silver, and we're right there on Bitcoin. And meanwhile, just to show you where we are on this chart, you're talking about an area right now that you have to respect, that we're in an elevated VIX compared to where we've been. You go back to where we've been from July 22nd to really until late September. Almost a period of 2 months, you were well below this area, right? Where you chopped around to a 14 handle, in between 15 and 16. Maybe you got above there. The VIX has been rising as this market is just relentlessly strong, up to 6,800 from 48.32. Almost 2,000 points in less than 6 months currently. NASDAQ 100. Talking about 8,700 plus points on this run. And a gain of 53.07% on the NASDAQ 100. All right, let's take a look at the volume and some of the action of some of the drivers. Take a look at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA breaks to all-time highs yesterday. It's talking about, this volume's been strong on NVIDIA. We can take that line off because there was some declining volume, but we've been in a consolidation in NVIDIA now, pushing this 180 level for 2 solid months. And we're possibly breaking above that. You trade higher to 187.35. We did that on Tuesday. You do it with 237 million shares almost. Didn't quite have the volume at the 191 though. We'll see how the volume comes in today. Let's mention Apple gets a downgrade from Jefferies. They shake that off in a matter of minutes this morning. We'll see how the final hour goes. Apple's got some good volume going in. We get 36 million shares already. You're going to get some volume on the close. Yesterday we did 42. Yeah, but we're really coming into this bar of September 22nd. You know, look at these two bars that we're getting above on lighter volume here. All right, let's take a look at Shopify for a question one of our tigers in the den. And what's remarkable is, so we use Shopify TFNN, folks. It's a great platform. There's your monthly. Becomes a pandemic darling with everyone shopping online. $176. And I'm going to look at the weekly and the daily in a moment. But if you look at the monthly, right? And what did happen was this was a darling, right? All the attention, right? Look at this volume. 870 million shares in the month of April of 2020. 831, 554, and 671. Well, we just had a nice acceleration in May of 350 million shares, but it's not doing even close. And then you look at where we got to this point last time. When you accelerated up here in February of 2021, 308 million shares that monthly. You make it back up here in June of 2021, 320 million shares. Now, we have 4 years of breathing in this equity. But even if you look at the highs of November of 2021, before you really fell out of bed, talk about it in magnificent fashion, right? 226 million shares. This is a monthly again. 226 million shares, right? We did 186 million and 142 million last month, breaking the highs. Now we'll see how it comes in this month. And we go down to the daily. And yeah, you're looking at this day out here from their earnings. Strong buy on that day on the 29th, but you're not going to get above that day on volume. You're not. And on a bigger picture, you know, Shopify is a great platform longer term. You just trade it from 23 to 160 and you're coming into the highs and you have a little bit lighter volume. So short term, yeah, I'd be careful at these price levels. You need a little bit more volume to break through this area. 4 years, $23 to 161. All right, folks, S&P's up by 4. NASDAQ in the red. We'll come right back.